instead of saying, hey, wait a moment, stop that nonsense. And then you feel that he's not doing his job. So it's, we are in a new spot. Okay?
Okay.
By reframing Hector's drinking and Angela's hospitalizations as the means by which they escape from each other in order to avoid conflict and stress, Mnuchin has completed the therapeutic task of constructing a frame that connects the family members to each other. The second consultation session occurred 3 months after the first. Angela's individual therapist participated in this consultation, as well as in the pre-session discussion.
Angela was taking care of Hector, who had an accident. You know, as I think people here know that he was in a car accident. You too?
I don't know.
Okay, he was in a terrible car accident, and then what happened was Angela started taking care of him, which was a shift instead of him taking care of her, and then she became overwhelmed by it and went into the hospital.
Dr. Mnuchin opened the second consultation by chatting with the family members about the effects of Hector's accident on the family's life.
You had the accident and everything.
I just swear to God. Well, the accident kind of intruded a bit. It disrupted things. You know, it really made an impact more on my wife, I think, than on me.
How so?
Because she had, she suppressed her feelings about what happened. And when
Well, actually, it was the first time I felt that I had to be totally responsible and had no one to fall on to. You know, if things got difficult, I could say, oh, Hector, I can't handle it. Do it for me. This time there was no Hector, do it for me. It was me, do it for myself. And I was being super person. And I kept on going and just kept on doing what I had to do. And taking care of Danielle, taking care of Hector. For a while, when Hector was very sick, I took care of everything. I was taking care of everything.
Are you good at that?
Well, I found that I was.
Angela, I have a problem. And you will need to help. The problem is, like last time, that I cannot jive your competence with your going to the hospital. You see, you are a very competent lady. I am impressed that you are intelligent, and in areas of difficulty you can manage. And so that and the hospital just don't
Well,
jive. Help me.
Let me put it this way. I'm not used to being able to function, or
But you
wait,
are,
just let me finish saying what I'm saying. I've always been told from a very young age I can't, and for a long time I believed them. I do have problems with voices on and off that really make it very difficult for me to function at times. Majority of the time, I can function a lot better than I thought I could. At least I'm starting to see that in the past year or two. At times, I really cannot do a damn thing. I get so out of hand that I can't think straight. Lots of times I can't hear what other people are saying around me because I'm hearing everything else.
Angela's narrative of competence in the aftermath of Hector's accident, and the incongruity between that competence and her pattern of repeated hospitalization, has led Dr. Mnuchin to focus early in this session on Angela's psychotic symptoms. Mnuchin has thus entered the family differently during this session than he did during the first, through Angela rather than through Danielle. Mnuchin's goal for this session is the same one he had for the first, namely to help family members explore their interconnectedness. However, since he has entered the family differently, the process by which this goal is accomplished will be a very different one. Dr. Mnuchin has entered the family through the portal of Angela's voices. At this point in the session, the family frames these voices as belonging only to Angela. To pursue his goal of highlighting interconnectedness, Mnuchin will have to spread the voices around, so to speak. Watch as he begins to do this.
Tell me something about your voices. How many voices are there?
Sometimes it's one, sometimes it's several, sometimes it seems like the whole world's talking to me at once and I just want to scream.
Are the voices male or female?
Both. Mostly female,
Mostly female.
yeah.
What do they say?
They tell me what kind of a person I am.
And what kind of person are you?
I really don't want to get too much into
According
that.
to the voices, you see, I think that these voices are important, so I want to know.
Yeah,
them.
but it's something I don't really discuss so much around in front of my daughter. It's something I don't want to.
Mm.
It's something I've never really done.
Let's find out if she knows about your voices or
Well,
not.
she knows
I don't know
somewhat.
about them. I'd like to know what they are. I want to understand what voices are, because if I ever hear voices, I mean,
You see,
I
Daniela,
would freak out.
I think that it's important to understand voices because I have voices. I think we all have voices. And some people hear voices as significant thoughts, and some people hear voices as if they come from outside. Some people hear voices as if they come from inside. We all have voices. It's not just your mom. I have voices, you have voices. Even she has voices.
I have voices.
So the question is, and we listen to our voices, and the voices tell us things. But your mom hears the voices as if they come from outside. Is that correct? So she has the skill or the disability of hearing these voices that I hear as inner voices, as if they are outside voices, you know, and that, and so the voices tell her things that she really knows, because you also have the same content of your voices outside in your feelings inside. If the voices say to you, you are shitty, then it is because sometimes your inner thought said you're shitty.
And I'm full of shit.
And
Then I'm full of shit.
yeah, you know, we all are like that. So when I am saying, what do the voices tell you?
Well, sometimes they tell me to do things to myself. Sometimes I can not listen to them, and sometimes I listen to
They are
them.
powerful.
Yeah.
Mhm. And when they said to do things to yourself is to hurt yourself
Yes,
because you're worthless.
right.
Dr. Mnuchin's normalizing assertion that we all have voices has begun to spread the voices around and to call into question Angela's sole ownership of the voices. While this intervention has increased Angela's willingness to talk about the voices, it is too global to serve as the foundation for a detailed exploration of Hector and Angela's interconnectedness. Therefore, Mnuchin must now find a way to describe more idiosyncratically how Hector participates in Angela's hearing of voices.
And how can you help these voices? You see, voices can be tamed, but they need help. Are your voices, does your wife ever hear your voices when she is hearing voices? Do you know?
Yeah,
If
since
among
I've
the voices,
never, she's never, my voice is never part of her
Never
voices.
part of-
Is my voice in?
Well, and the only way that it's part is where it's a positive influence to push the negative voices out. When they're telling her to do negative things, she'll, key in on what I've told her over the years, because of the voices, is if they come
That means,
to talk to me, or,
do you hear his voices also? No. No. His voice is, I think his voice is too soft. I don't think his voice is strong enough. To fight your voices, you need another voice that is at least as strong. And you speak so softly.
Excuse me? I have some throat.
Yeah. Do you think your mom hear your voices when she's like that? No.
I don't know, I never know.
So you don't have any influence, eh? Do you think your voice is there?
I don't think so, is it?
Margaret?
Actually, lately I've been hearing mine.
You have been hearing your voice?
Yeah.
And is it as strong as the others?
It's getting very loud.
What do they say?
I'm telling you, shut the fuck up.
Uh-huh.
You
think you will wake up?
I think so. I think I'm winning.
Tell you something, I don't think that you can do it alone.
So what do you?
But I'm not saying the voices. I think that unless your voice and your voice join in the choir of voices, she cannot do it alone.
But it's his job mainly to do that. I mean, he's her husband.
Lovely,
He should be
lovely.
louder.
You are absolutely right. And so he's not doing his job.
It's difficult to do a job, actually, if you're not, clued in to the voices. Like, she tells me about the voices long after the fact. It's like, closing the barn doors after the animals run out. I mean, it's pointless. Might as well leave the doors
I
open.
don't think he means that way.
It's, I don't,
Listen,
No, you just have to be a little bit stronger in your character around me. The things that you do around me, not be a voice while the voice is going on. Not that.
That's what he does. I mean, when they argue or whatever, that he just sits there and it seems like she's the king or something. She wouldn't deserve she wants. When Daddy should be the one to be the man and be like, no, you listen. I mean.
Well, I've done that, haven't I?
Hector has changed in the past couple of months, where he has been being more of that dominating voice that I need.
See, she needs a dominating
Not
man.
just,
That's
not
what I mean.
not
That's
just
what I-
that, no.
your mom, explain to her what you mean by dominant voice.
His voice
No,
is.
explain to her, because she
His
needs-
voice is becoming stronger. He's becoming, no, this can't be done this way, or this is the way we have to do it, or maybe we should do it this way. The way he's saying things now is a lot different than it was. He's not being so passive.
Yeah.
He's being a lot stronger than he has been in the past. And to the point where sometimes I shut up when he's going off, it's, something has changed since we've been in the couples therapy. He's been more thinking about what he feels and worries a little bit more about what he's feeling than what others are feeling, because he's always worried about other people before
You get
himself.
hurt that way.
See, Hector, the question is that your wife had always thought that she will break if she has stresses. And you learn to accept that. And you never then felt
From the
certain,
beginning.
you never felt certain
Yeah.
that you could make demands. And you learn to quiet your voice, to make it softer and softer. with the idea that that is what you needed from him.
To release the stress, and I think I would take the stress and I would take care of the situation.
No, I want to be an equal partner.
This was the beginning, and all the therapy and everything went through fed right into it.
Yeah, but it seemed as if maybe both of you have a threshold of stress after which you escape in different ways. You escape into the hospital and you escape in daydreaming or passivity or.
Yeah, it would be better. I just get lost. I just click.
Yeah.
I turn on the video.
So when you escape, I think she begins to hear voices. Your voices become stronger when he escapes. Or when, even in this situation, your escape was not willful. You were really sick and unable. But it is similar to other escapes that were psychological.
Yeah, no, there was no distinction. I was not there. Therefore, it took over.
And then she goes into crazy.
Yeah, I understand.
So it's clear that when her voices become loud, it is because you
I'm absent.
had disappeared.
As the session closes, Angela no longer has sole ownership of her voices. Hector's participation in Angela's hearing of voices has been described, and in the process, the interconnectedness of the spouses has been reaffirmed. Moreover, the way in which Dr. Mnuchin has described Hector and Angela's interconnectedness has suggested an avenue of possible change in the way they relate to each other. More than a year after the second consultation, Dr. Mnuchin met with Hector and Angela for a follow-up interview. During this period, Angela had had only a single brief hospitalization, a radical departure from the previous pattern. During the period, Danielle had become pregnant and given birth to a baby boy. At the time of the follow-up interview, Danielle, the baby, and the baby's father were living with Angela and Hector. Angela began the interview by talking about her newborn grandson.
Your wish is coming true.
And my grandson.
Okay,
yes.
this is what I in fact wanted to see.
You know,
Sal's got to see this. He's
I
got to
am
see.
embarrassed because I have a granddaughter and I don't have a picture.
I don't have a
That's too
picture of
bad.
my daughter
This is
and
gorgeous.
Nigel.
That's little Anthony.
This is gorgeous.
Isn't
Anthony
he beautiful? He is absolutely
You guys
And
make
they say
some
he
nice
looks like me.
offspring.
Oh,
He looks like
he's
me, they
gorgeous.
say.
You have to,
He
wouldn't you?
also has a cleft in his chin.
Everyone says he looks like
her.
her.
And you can't see
My
it.
goodness.
Isn't that lovely?
He's
You think he
big.
looks like her?
Oh, he is very
How,
big.
how old is he?
He's
6 months now.
and 2-3 weeks,
Yeah.
something like
He-
that.
He
And,
does look like you.
Yeah.
and what's good is that we're making a real impression on the kid.
Also, we've changed, I mean, the house setting is so different, but we take care of our stuff. Danielle cooks for,
King
what's his
Tut.
face? King Tut.
That's his
And,
face.
and little Anthony and herself, and they clean behind themselves. The living room is sort of like neutral territory. There's a television set there with a VCR, but everybody has a set in their own room. We're all in our own rooms. We sometimes come out into the living room.
She finally heard me.
What do you mean? I finally heard you. What?
Well, I told you this business of cloistering yourself in the room, everything. I
Oh,
think,
I'm coming out a little bit more, yeah.
you see, because you were doing this, you would lock yourself in the room and you impose this punishment on yourself, then you say it's them. And it was never them, it was always you. And it was a good idea, give them room, access living room, but you got into this thing, look what they did to us. No one did anything to you. The house is yours.
I know. I know.
I know.
And
Now
I
you know.
started to feel claustrophobic a couple of weeks ago. I said, screw this. I'm
Hallelujah.
coming out back out in the living room, you know.
I need to know because I have not seen you for over a year. And I noticed that Hector is very different than he was a year ago.
Uh-huh.
How did that happen?
I don't know, all of a sudden a little bit of that Puerto Rican stuff came out of him, man. He just started putting his foot down,
Oh,
and
no.
I'm like, okay, you
No,
know.
but very, very different.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is,
I learned to shut up at times.
Jesus.
is that an improvement?
Yes.
In what way?
It
Because,
makes-
you know, I
it-
am impressed with you.
It makes me feel protected and safe. He's taken in charge. He's being the man of the house. He's not being the doctor taking care of a patient. I am not a patient. I am his wife. And I am trying to be his wife and do the things that I have to do.
I think it was because we were going to Margaret that we were doing well.
We use a
Margot's
lot of
Well, Margaret
The things
told us and
Margaret
things she
told us.
pointed out about it, and,
Like what?
well, that I was being Angela's doctor, or her father, or her big brother protecting her, and not being a husband, so I was not a husband anymore. So this altered our relationship as husband and wife. I became her caretaker, I protected her against her mother. I would do this for her, I would do that for her, to keep her shielded from anybody. Anything. And that's what I've been doing for all these years, and my life per se was put on hold. And then I put severe demands on myself, and that's where the Nazi came in, when I had to go to work, I had to do this, I had to do that, and Margaret pointed this out to me. And
What could you use from Margaret? What did you use that changed your relationship with Hector, for instance?
Well, the idea that you kept on talking about how he was taking care of me and I wasn't being a wife. In reality, I wasn't being a woman. That's what I was hearing. And Hector got sick. It was like I had to all of a sudden, somebody